brand image. Shin, who named his company after the Egyptian goddess, has started removing the ISIS label from some packages, but he's reluctant to give up on such an established brand. He says he wishes the U.S. and European media would stop referring to the militant group as ISIS. ISIS Collections has had no sales problems in South Korea, where the media refers to the group only as the Islamic State, and Obama in his speeches has referred to it as ISIL. Another company technology startup, ISIS Wallet, announced in September that it would change its name to Soft Card. The joint venture involving AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon Wireless created an app last year. It allows people to use their smartphones while checking out at a store to get discounts and use credit or loyalty cards. By June, company leaders were thinking about rebranding to avoid confusion with the militant group. Softcard, which also picked its original name to reflect the Egyptian goddess, works with major companies like American Express. The startup's executives were worried about asking those partners to continue promoting a product named ISIS. Changing a brand or an established company name can be costly and complex. And be a complex move. Just finding a memorable name can be hard because the best ideas are often taken or trademarked. Softcard's name change makes sense to Joseph Lewis, a partner with the law firm of Barnes & Thornburg, who specializes in trademarks. He noted that the company is new and still building its image. With the old name, they would have had to take the extra step of explaining that they weren't tied to the Islamic State group. ISIS Pharmaceuticals, Inc. has no plans to change its brand. It has built over 25 years. It doesn't sell products directly to consumers, and its name doesn't even appear on any of the products it helped develop. So far, only a few investors have asked company officials about their name. Shopping. To some of you out there, it's fun. And bargain hunting has grown to be a sport. Oh, I like to bargain hunt. Outlets have been springing up at a rapid pace since 2006. Only one regional mall has opened in the United States. Yes, that's true. Since 2006, only one regional mall has opened in the United States. In fact, check out, I forget where it is online, but there is some website or Tumblr that's got a bunch of pictures of abandoned regional malls, shopping malls, just completely empty, and like the plant life that used to, be maintained is now growing wild, and ivy is everywhere. It looks like Logan's Run. It's cool. But now, if you compare the opening of regional malls, how there hasn't been any opening since 2006. In contrast, 40 outlet centers in the U.S. and Canada have opened since then. By the end of this year, 11 more will have opened. Along with the growth have come improvements in design, landscaping, restaurants, and location. As agreements restricting outlet stores' locations near the retailer's mainline stores have erased, outlets no longer have to build at a city's outskirts. Which is funny because a lot of the city, as I'm making air quotes, city outskirts, when, all the outlet malls were first opening in the 90s, now the outskirts are no longer the outskirts. There was so much development in the 90s and the O's that, all that space was filled in. And now they're in the middle of suburbia. While outlet stores' merchandise once consisted primarily of cast-offs from retailers' flagship stores, that's no longer true. Now, 86% of the merchandise is made for outlets. There's also more high-end merchandise than there once was. The chains with the largest outlet stores in North America are Saks Fifth Avenue off 5th, Last Call by Neiman Marcus, and Bloomingdale's Outlet. But Dress Barn/Dress Barn Woman has the most stores and outlets with 205, followed by Carter's at 160 and Gymboree with 156. A factory store label, for example, indicates the item was made to be sold at an outlet, but sometimes it's difficult to tell. Salespeople can usually tell you, as most are quite knowledgeable about the merchandise. While the average discount at outlets is 38%, it's still important to do your due diligence to check quality. Examine seams to see if patterns line up, and make sure the fabric isn't too cheap. What's worth buying and fixing? A broken zipper is a pricey fix, while a slight tear can be fixable. Fabric with little pulls or snags could end up with a lot more. Of course, deals can also be found at end-of-season clearance sales at mall department stores, especially if you use coupons too. This also according to sfchronicle.com and sfgate.com. And they end the article with 4 tips on how to save at outlet stores. Number 1, get the coupon book. Check an outlet center's website for printable coupons. Number 2, download outlet apps. Number 3, time it right. Most sales are clustered around holidays and traditional retail sales periods, such as Black Friday. Shop Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday to avoid crowds. Number 4, start shopping at the back of the store to find the biggest markdowns. Number 5, compare prices. Know what prices are at the flagship and department stores. The outlet price may not be a bargain after all. And finally, sign up for their rewards programs.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to
Oh, being carried
don't you cry
or pulled.
no more.
Pulled by horse carriages. And there was a fake dead horse left on the sidewalk of Knickerbocker Avenue in the Brooklyn neighborhood of Bushwick. The life-size stuffed animal was a lurid warning from the most powerful animal rights group in the city. Stand in the way of a potential bill to ban horse-drawn carriages and you'll have horse blood on your hands. This according to the New York Observer. The recipient of the message, a Brooklyn city councilman, was unmoved. The war over horse-drawn carriages has garnered more media coverage in the past year. Mayor Bill de Blasio is wrestling with the kind of New York dilemma where he promised to ban horse-drawn carriages reviled by animal rights groups as inhumane, and he did this on day 1 of his administration. The promise apparently bought unwavering support from animal rights groups like NY Class and allowed Mr. de Blasio to avoid television ads that attacked Christine Quinn, his arch rival in the mayoral race. The CY Class-backed ads boxed in Quinn, who opposed a ban as city council speaker as a backroom deal maker voters couldn't trust. January 1st arrived and the horses went nowhere. The Teamsters Union, which represents the roughly 300 drivers who would be potentially out of a job if a ban is enacted, mobilized. De Blasio's cherished ally, the labor-backed Working Families Party, stood with carriage workers. The Daily News launched a campaign to fight the ban, gathering signatures from readers and swamping cover after cover with horse-related stories. Liam Neeson visited the stables on the west side and made keeping the horses his big mission on all the television shows he was on, promoting his movies, where another movie where he'll be speaking with his Irish accent and growling and being really upset and sounding almost like a pirate, but he sounds more like Liam Neeson. Polls consistently showed most New Yorkers want to protect the Central Park stables. A bill to ban the carriages has yet to be introduced in the city council, which replaced Quinn with a pro-ban speaker, Melissa Mark-Viverito. As much as de Blasio wants to pivot to big-picture aspirations, implementing his pre-kindergarten and housing initiatives, the horse carriage issue threatens to consume precious media oxygen. The mayor needs to reserve for other issues. Many council members, wary of irking the Teamsters, will only back a ban if they know all the jobs, which can pay as much as $50,000, according to Teamster spokesman, will be replaced. NY Class proposed antique electric-powered cars, a solution some argue is not practical. George Miranda, the president of the Teamsters Joint Council 16, says, the guys who do this type of work, the shoesmiths, the guys working in the stables, that's all they do. It's their whole life. They're not young people. A lot of them are immigrants. This is how they feed their families. And as Liam Neeson would say, they're not hurting. The horses are fine. Leave them alone. I'm Liam Neeson. As we go outside of the last place on earth where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California.
And here's today's podcast picture.
As was mentioned earlier, there is a picture that is a drawing with me and the Disgruntled Fiddle Player discussing the rain.
Yeah, Mike, okay, I'd like to take back what I said about the rain. In the drawing, I think rain is great, and we need it here in California so that we can stand out in the rain like we're doing right now.
There's a little bit of a sprinkle coming down outside here of the last place on earth. A little bit in Podcastro Valley. I love how the fields are green. The hills are green. It's so nice.
Yeah, well, you know what, Mike? What happens is water makes the grass grow.
Oh, okay.
And then they release carbon dioxide that the baking soda eats up. And then you put that in your cakes and it's delicious.
Wow. I didn't know your husband was so brilliant, Benita. Yeah, he's smart. And sometimes my horse nearly will lick his face. Oh. That's sweet. When animal kind and person kind can get together, that's awesome.
Mike, I don't know what we're talking about right now, but I want to go to Livermore Labs so I can drink some Anchor Brewing Company beer and then spit it out of my mouth because it's not as good as my earth beer.
You know, Madame Rutabaga fell into your root beer bat the other day.
Yeah, that's why it tastes better.
She got out, though.
Oh, okay.
I see you're really concerned about that.
What were we talking about?
Well, it's something anyway that Miley Cyrus appeared on this show. That was something. So thank you, Miley, for doing that. Continued success. Much success to you, Miley. I hope to see you on the Super Bowl next year. Do you have as many hits as Katy Perry? I don't think you do, but you know, you can still show up on the Super Bowl. Everyone will be happy to see you. And if you could do a push-up with the pinky, that would be amazing. Just keep on doing the CrossFit-idiot thing. Hey, I saw so many CrossFit-idiots over in Jack London Square the other day. I was over there. Beautiful day. You could see Jack London is an awesome place in Oakland because it's right there on the Oakland Harbor. You can go and see the San Francisco off in the distance. It was so clear. And then there were all these CrossFit people picking up 10-pound basketballs filled with sand, throwing them at each other and jogging. All young people in such good shape. It made them feel so self-conscious.
Mike, why did you go into an Italian accent?
How did you know that was Italian? That could have been my Portuguese accent.
No, it sounded like you were going to make a pizza.
I would like to make a pizza. But instead, I would like to make a plea with you to listen to the next show. Because we are going to have some awesome shenanigans going on with the return of Madame Rutabaga, freshly dried off from falling into the toxic Brewmaster's root beer.
Yeah, it's toxic. It's delicious. I named it after a Britney Spears song.
And then there's also going to be a visit from those other two people that show up when Madame Rutabaga... Valentino and Bison Bentley. The guy that screeches a lot. Speaking of screeching, I'm going to go yell at YouTube now.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST-810-News. Email Mike now at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!